Alright. Hey guys, this week we're all kind of tired. We just want to chill. So this week, welcome to the Happy House van, where it's a good time in the van, who is also a house. We got,
I'm okay with
Sounds
this.
like a good time.
sounds like a good time? I don't know, I'm still kind of caught up on MILF Hunters International. I feel like I want that to be like a real magazine that I can subscription to. It's
You
like
should start it, Matt.
it's just like guys writing about their journalistic ventures into the public, interviewing presumably older ladies. I'd pay a subscription for that.
Can they sponsor the podcast?
If we ever find a magazine that is actually titled MILF Hunters International, I will be on their ass for a sponsorship.
Good. Glad. Oh my god.
Anyways,
Oh.
I'm Matt. I am not a professional demon hunter. Who's two?
I am Kai. I am a professional Destiny 2 player. That's not true, but I did stay
If
up until
only.
5 in the morning last night playing, so I'm very tired right now.
Jesus Christ, Kai.
I might have lost track of time, just a little bit.
Well, I'm Jason. I'm a professional procrastinator.
Oh, dude, fucking same.
Yeah.
I wonder
Pretty
if
good,
you could
pretty good.
actually make that a profession in some way.
I feel like it would go like you'd have to be privately contracted by someone to get a job and then not perform your marks at the job. It would be like a corporate sabotage kind of position.
Huh. That would be an interesting job. Just be like barely doing enough where like they can't fire you, but like doing so poorly that it affects them.
Exactly. Like exactly right
Like,
in there. Or
They
or
need that
make like
keep going.
make like really really poor business decisions like the entire time and just consistently fuck them over.
Yeah, be like an advisor with a good rep, and then like just completely tank the corporation.
Have you ever
Everyone that
have you guys ever seen that show Nathan for You?
Nathan.
Yeah, Nathan for You. So the entire idea of the show is there's this guy that I can't remember his last name, but he has a like TV show where he's a business consultant, but he only gives really bad advice.
I think.
And then they follow through with it. Yeah, so like there's this one episode where he goes to a clothing shop that had a shoplifting problem. So his response to it was, "Well, what if we let attractive people shoplift?" So they had a guard, like a security guard at the front that would come walk through, and then he'd be like, "Yeah, you all right? You can take one item from this store," and then they'd let them shoplift.
What a great way
Fuck.
to tank your revenue.
It's a fantastic show.
Jesus Christ.
I highly recommend it to anyone that likes really awkward. And the thing is, he's like a really cripplingly awkward guy. And no one can tell whether or not that's a character that he plays or if he's really like that.
Interesting.
It's quite remarkable. Yeah. Highly recommend. 10 out of 10.
Quality.
Oh my god. So how was your weeks, guys?
My week is pretty good. Usual school streaming, lots of Monster Hunter. Was making my way through the Lord of the Rings movies, as I told
Making
you,
my way
Jason.
downtown.
Walking fast, faces pass on the homebound.
homebound. Ba-na-na-na-na-na.
I'm glad that I was slightly ahead of Jason and he was slightly behind me. It's like every word I finished, he would then say after, and it was just very poorly layered.
It's perfect. We're all on that same wavelength.
Yeah.
That retarded wavelength.
Oh.
And I mean that in an actual, like, retarded or, like, lame, slow wavelength.
We're not being offensive yet, guys.
My very
Yeah.
existence.
Give us a couple more minutes.
That is probably true somehow. But I disagree with you. Your presence is wonderful.
How is the Monster Hunter, Kai?
It's going good. We're making our way. fighting Elder Dragons now. So I've made a lot of progress. Being
Yeah.
carried by Jason.
Yep.
Yes.
I'll probably.
Yeah,
a
you know,
lot of fun.
you're doing it on your own now though. Like you're pretty
That's
you're
true.
pretty
I've actually-
consistently like you've improved a lot. That's like if you haven't noticed, I've been taking it easier on the more aggressive monsters now to give you a chance to like really learn.
Oh, I fucking noticed your deaths.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh.
Yeah. So Matt, you weren't there for this, but I had not gotten carded a single time getting him up to high rank, and then we fought Odogaron, and every single time we fought anything, there was at least one time that Kai got carded.
Mm-hmm.
Up until Odogaron, and then we were farming him, so I got an investigation that would have us capture him instead. But the stipulation was that we could only die one time. And the first time we did it, like there were a lot of really close calls, but Kai like kept pumping it out and pumping it out and pumping it out. And then the first time we did this quest, we successfully captured him. And the next time we did it, I died like right off the bat. Like immediately, and then following that, every time we tried to do that quest, I died every single time consistently.
Also,
Only
the
on
second
that
time
one.
he died was my fault.
That's true. Kai's using the insect glaive, and it's actually really fucking funny, because now he has a penchant for landing directly on top of me when I'm about to get attacked by a monster or dodge out of it. So he'll come crashing down, knock me for a second, so I'll go into the trip animation, and then I'll just get fucking sideswiped by a monster and immediately knocked to the ground.
Ouch.
It's pretty bad.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's good times all around though.
I'll
We're
have
finally-
to join
Quality
you
times.
eventually because you're now at the parts that I am at where I kind of stopped playing.
Yeah.
True.
And Iceborne's like right around the corner.
That it is.
I'm super excited for it. It looks so good.
Hell yeah.
We're getting all of that new content.
Gimme. All of it.
And we're getting the Narakakuga, what?
The Naruto?
The Naruto. No, it's like a panther dragon.
Cool.
Yeah, it's like a panther with wings. It's fucking sick.
It's pretty cool sounding.
Yeah, it's
it
awesome.
probably doesn't look how you're thinking, Kai.
Probably not.
It's like a panther, but if like the front legs were wings,
Okay.
but it still
Interesting.
does the pounce
Mm-hmm.
and the hide in the bushes and then pounce out at you and be like rah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's sick.
I dig that.
And then we get the snow. Aren't you
Is
excited for more
gonna
snow,
be
Kai?
cold? Bring a hot drink,
Bring the hot drink.
else you'll be chilly.
Is Monster Hunter World the first Monster Hunter to not have a snow biome?
I don't think it's the first, but it's notable that it doesn't have one.
Interesting. Well, we're getting one.
Yep. Bring a hot
Oh, boy.
drink. Make sure you're all nice and toasty.
And then we're gonna get a new weapon type, and we don't know what it is yet. And I'm still
Oh,
really
shit.
hoping that you just swing your palico around like a weapon.
I actually really hope it's the hunting dog thing.
That would be radical.
I would
That'd be
play
cool.
with that forever. So much.
Where it's so
The hunting
like
dog would be it's the one-handed sword, but your other hand is used to command a hunting hound on your right, on your left.
that's so awesome.
That'd be cool.
That's
Yeah.
really sick.
There was concept art for it, so that's why I'm hoping for it.
Oh man, yeah, that'd be awesome.
I really hope that they add a double-sided energy sword that spins in circles, and you can use it to fly up in the air to mount
Fuck you.
monsters.
I want you to know, the moment that you said double-sided energy sword, I was like, no. I hate you so much.
It's okay, I hate me too.
I'll take my energy copter, and you can take your energy copter, and we can fly away from the Jedi. That was so
Oh
dumb.
God, fucking damn it.
There's so many videos trying to defend that too.
It's really
No.
Be like,
just
no, this is
don't.
how it works, and it's no, there is
No,
no
it just
lift that
doesn't.
makes that work. Ah,
God damn it.
good lord.
So, how was your week, Jason? Unless Kai has more to say.
No, that's about it.
My week's been pretty alright. I'm trying to think of what I did this week. I played Monster Hunter with Kai.
Mm-hmm.
Hung out with you for your birthday. Happy birthday, Matthew.
Happy birthday, man.
I saw How to Train Your Dragon 2. 3. How to Train Your Dragon 3. Sorry. That was actually really, really awesome. I really like those movies. I don't know if either of you guys have seen any of them.
I have.
I've seen the first one and also the second. Yeah, I've seen the first two.
Yeah.
I never saw the third one.
Yeah, the third one
So I
just
didn't
came
care at
out.
that point.
It's still in theaters, so that would explain why you haven't seen it yet.
Mm,
But yeah,
I don't
no,
leave my house.
yeah, exactly, because you are pretty much a hermit. But that's okay.
Yep.
We still love you.
I just sit in my house and play Destiny 2 until 5 in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. It's great.
And then go to sleep and wake up and start playing Destiny 2 again.
You're kind of living the life, man. Doing great. And Devil May Cry 5 is also a thing that's occupied my time outside of Monster Hunter, and yeah, also replaying through Skyrim. But I think I had mentioned that previously.
I'm also doing that. I spent many hours this week actually just uninstalling all of the mods I've had and re-downloading and installing a bunch to like clean it up. And so I've been going through that, and it's been quality shit.
I love
Pretty
and hate
solid.
doing that.
What?
I love and hate
Oh.
doing that.
Yeah, it took a long time, but it was worth it. Got rid of a lot of shit I didn't really want, cleared up some space, and fixed up the like load order and all that shit.
Yeah. Are you going to elaborate on anything in your week, Jason, or are you just going to be like, yeah, that's what I did?
That's pretty much what I did. I can't really think of anything that was too relevant. Aside from that, my mother was like briefly admitted to the hospital again, so I was there a couple days this week. Yeah, other than that, that's pretty much everything that I can think of. So,
All right.
yeah.
I guess I'm just going to bring it out because, fuck it, we all knew this was coming. I
Yep.
spent my entire week playing Frog Fractions 2.
Oh,
It's a really
shit!
It's a really good game. I like how it's actually hidden in Pixie Glitter Grove. You have to find that first. You actually have to play through that game and get to the actual midpoint. Then you find the door that leads you into Frog Fractions. Psych! It's Devil May Cry 5. Fuck all y'all. Frog Fractions is actually a good game, but I spent my entire week playing Devil May Cry. Well, not my entire week. I spent most of my week hanging out with people. But I hardly remember that amidst the blur and haze that is just, man, Devil May Cry 5 is a really good game in my opinion.
It is a really good game.
From what I've seen, it looks really cool and fun to play. I'm tempted to get it.
Yes.
It's
You
totally
may
worth
also
it.
hear that, but I have a dog now too.
Oh shit, nice. What kind of dog is it?
It's oh shit, what is Loki? I don't know. My sister moved back home and she brought her dog. He's a bit of a big boy, really skinny and gray, but he's a cutie.
Oh, when did that happen?
Nice.
Literally today.
Oh,
Oh.
okay. Was that like a planned thing, or was that like
No,
a
it just kinda
sudden
happened.
thing? Oh, okay, cool, good to know. Precursor to this, I was at Matthew's house last night until like 11, so that's an update. All right, cool, good to know.
Just a slight difference.
Yeah, all right.
A
Cool.
slight change. Now there is a doggo in the abode.
Doggo, what a good boy.
Man, I like Devil May Cry 5. Devil May Cry 5 is a really good video game. I enjoy it a lot, and I don't know if anyone doesn't like it. I know I like it a lot, because I think it's pretty good. My biggest complaint would be the photorealistic graphics. It still don't really do it any justice. And I still think it's a wee bit easy. But other than that, everyone's toolkits are pretty fucking on point. It's pretty good. I feel like there's not a lot I'd really change about the game. It's pretty fucking solid.
Respect.
That's good.
It's got me excited for life. And by that I mean I can now die at any time without regrets. So there's nothing holding me back now. I can do anything.
Kingdom Hearts 3's finale?
I can live without it.
Damn! Alright, fair enough.
Get fuck Kingdom Hearts.
Funny thing
Yeah.
is, way back in the day, I might have talked about this before. Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep was a game that made me afraid to die, like Devil May Cry 5 did, because I was afraid I'd die before the game came out and I wouldn't know what would happen. So it was like I was on constant alert, like what could kill me? How do I avoid my own death?
Good. Relatable.
Oh
Shit.
Now that I've crossed everything off the bucket list, I don't care anymore. Fuck it. It's time to do the things I've never thought I'd do. Let's go fist fight a tiger.
Get addicted to
Just
crack
fight a
cocaine.
Shark.
Yep. Just
Do
spend
all of
my
the
life
heroin.
Down the toilet. The only way I can fight demons is if I see them.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh no.
Oh no!
That's my demon.
I like V. I think there's a lot of stuff that could be done with him, and I have to figure that out. I wish there was a little bit more to him because he's the most basic out of all the characters. But everyone else's toolkits fleshed out, good shit. Hope we get character DLC. Bloody Palace is coming. There's nothing bad in life. Nothing bad in Devil May Cry 5 that's making me really hate it. Other than I still don't like the photorealistic graphics that much.
It's reasonable. It does. I don't know. There's something kind of off about it.
I just prefer stylized stuff. That's just how it is. I don't think photorealism ever really does anything that much justice as a stylized venture would. Like, I don't know. Even though it looks really good, it could have looked different, or it could have been stylized, cel shaded, anything. Like, the games that are stylized get to age very well, and they also get to just look very nice, and they get to pop out in your head like, oh yeah, that looked different. Like,
Yeah,
even
that
though
makes
Devil
sense.
May Cry 3 doesn't have the biggest graphical, big budget, dick energy, it's still a pretty decent looking game, even for today's standards via environment design. And like Nero or Dante and Virgil in that game, they may be low poly as fuck, but because of their more cartoonish / anime look, they don't look bad. They look cool. They look alright.
Yeah, it is actually really, really solid.
And
That's
then
always a
photorealism
thing.
is like, yeah, look at it, and I'm like, yeah, it's alright, I guess.
I think it depends on the game.
Yeah.
Because if for like some games, like stylization would make it feel better, but for a game like Last of Us 2 is something that pops in my head where like I want that to be photorealistic, because that just I feel like it makes more sense for that kind of game.
It makes sense because what The Last of Us is trying, or what The Last of Us was trying to sell was that immersive quality, right? It's trying to draw you into the...
That's also true.
So, like, video games are a fun thing, and I like them a lot because you can do a lot with the fact that it's an interactive medium. Some games want to use its gameplay mechanics to drive you into the story, to get you to feel like you're a part of the world and really engaging with it, to kind of forget that you're not a part of the world. And for some games like The Last of Us, that's going to be better suited with like graphics. The graphics. The graphics with an F. The high quality graphics.
The graphics.
It's going to help you be immersed in the game, and it helps you partake in the story better. It makes you feel immersed. Or other games where it's supposed to be like, I don't know, off the wall action, or more like separatist between its story and gameplay. and it's more focusing on the gameplay and the story's just being an afterthought, it can work in its favor. Or even like even if you want to set a specific tone with your game, that can work too. Like for example, No More Heroes doesn't have a realistic style, but No More Heroes has a distinct style, and it certainly helps to its overall experience. No More Heroes 1 is a game that's weirdly colorful and bright, but visceral and very introspective / worrying in some ways. And it throws that dissonance, which helps you relate more with Travis, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely adore both of those games.
Yeah.
It also has the other thing that I really like about it is that it tries really hard to vary up its environments.
Which game?
No More Heroes 1.
That it does.
There's a lot of really unique areas in it. So you feel the difference in them.
Sand Destroy is a pretty varied locale.
I think another thing that really helps in that game to kind of help you relate with Travis is like as much as like they're tedious and obnoxious, is the
mini games.
Mini games, yeah. So for those of you that have never played the game, between the basic idea of the game is that Travis Touchdown is the main protagonist. He becomes the 11th best assassin in the world, and then he gets the right to challenge the top 10 to make his way up to 1. And in between each of the like longer story missions that you go through, you have to do odd jobs around town to make money.
Because in order to buy your way, you have to buy your way into assassination fights. You don't get to do that shit for free.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to do really odd jobs like running around and selling coconuts or mowing people's lawns.
Or killing scorpions.
Yes. And the actual the creator of the game wanted it to be like this tedious thing, because that's what we all have to do, have tedious jobs that we do every day, and they're not very fun, but we do them anyways, and that also helps you relate with Travis.
I feel like I really want Travis's life, even down to the tedious jobs, because Travis just gets to choose his jobs. He doesn't have to go to the same job every day. He can be like, no, I want to kill roaches today, or I want to go sell coconuts now. He doesn't have to go sell coconuts every day.
He also can wake up and just be like, I'm not doing it today.
Yeah, he could. I feel like I should join a temp agency, is I guess what I'm saying. Maybe that's relieving of the problem.
Definitely not a bad idea.
And then I can be an assassin, buy my laser katana off eBay, and we're all good. It's funny how fucking Travis what was it? It's like he buys 9 or 20 laser katanas off eBay, and the first one he gets, then he's finally an assassin king.
Yeah.
I like that's the only thing that truly barred him from being the assassin that he was always meant to be, is getting the working laser katana.
Yeah, exactly. It's so good.
It's all he needed. And then he fucking met up a hot chick in a bar, and then he became the 11th best assassin. No, man, I love No More Heroes. I love fucking Suda51.
Oh, Suda's games are so solid.
I really like how
so much.
I really like how Travis Strikes Again has incorporated a lot of his other games in it too.
Yeah.
I need to
definitely.
I need to finish Killer 7, and I need to fucking play the Silver Case, because that's been on my mind.
I actually met Goichi Soda.
Yeah, you mentioned a lot of times, actually, even on this podcast.
Have I? Oh,
yes.
Yeah. Well, either way, I did.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I always forget that I tell that story because it's one that I always forget about having happen.
Claim to fame.
Yeah, it was pretty sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a lot of really cool games. I also really like Killer is Dead. That's another game that has a really like weird design aesthetic that helps it age very well.
Yeah, I feel like Killer 7 is a super good game, because Killer 7 has a fucking the weirdest atmosphere, and every part of the game helps that a lot. Like the constant talk about blood, switching out the smiths, all the smiths being one smith, the shadow ghost gimp, the fucking invisible smiles that are terrorists, but it could be a fucking interdimensional demon for all you fucking know that explode. Like, everything about that game is fucking kooky and weird. How it's on rails, and you have to stop to aim and to see the invisible enemies that are trying to explode you.
That's
like,
so cool.
It's a, in my opinion, Killer 7 is an odd horror game that's just never. Because the best thing a horror game can do, in my opinion, is make you feel unsettled, and playing Killer 7 makes me deeply unsettled all the time. It's like I feel nerve-wracked because there are invisible enemies all around me in this strange environment, and every time I get to the safe room, I talk to the fucking ghost gimp, and he speaks in fucking weird-ass vocals that don't make sense. And then there's angels that I have to shoot at the end who mock me for missing, and then, oh my god, it's so fucking weird. I love it.
It's so radical.
Yeah, it's good.
Here's wait, there's another game that I'm thinking of. It's like a black and white game that also uses green in the palette. Is it
Not Mad World.
No, it just had a re-release. It's like a detective-y, almost visual novel-esque game.
Not Hotel Dusk.
No, The Silver Case.
Oh,
That's the name of
thing
it.
I said earlier. Yes.
Yes, that one. Yeah,
Yes.
it's that's another good example of a unique game that he made.
All of
I
his
never
games
actually
are
wound up
pretty
playing
unique.
through it. Yeah. And then he also made Lollipop Chainsaw.
I think that was one of the games that was just his name was slapped on it, but he didn't actually direct. But he might have directed that one. I can't remember.
I thought that he was the creative director on that one.
He might have been. Who knows? Fucking. Well, 30 minutes in, and I've completely lost train of thought. I, in fact, feel like I just blacked out and woke up. I
Oh no.
barely remember what we were just talking about. How are you guys?
Matt.
Doing all right, Matt. You okay there, buddy?
Maybe?
Oh no.
I don't know.
We're losing him.
Maybe
We're
this
losing
is
him,
what-
guys.
Maybe this is what fucking shifting feels like in the Zero Escape series.
Oh man, yeah.
Have you guys played Zero Escape?
I have, yeah.
No.
I haven't. I didn't beat. I haven't fully beaten VLR, and I haven't played 3.
Zero
But
Time
I've,
Dilemma is irrelevant. You don't need to play it.
fair enough. There we go.
Just beat VLR.
Yeah, I've been making my way through that game for years.
Yeah, you should probably finish it, my dude. Just
Yeah,
like
I
you
know.
should finish Danganronpa.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah. Oh, 3's alright. You can kind of skip it if you want.
Fair enough.
Also, real quick, Goichi Suda is the name of the guy that you guys were just talking about,
Yeah.
right?
Suda 51.
Yeah, he was one of the directors for Chainsaw Lollipop.
Well, that's the
Or
thing.
Lollipop
Like,
Chainsaw.
so he was on multiple games, and he wasn't primary. Like, he wasn't the primary director. He was just kind of like a consultant director on half of them. But the games where he fully directs are, I feel like, some of his strongest with his weird ass themes, which I know is I know he fully directed No More Heroes 1, but thank you for looking it up, I guess.
You're welcome.
Who was the guy that made Deadly Premonition? What studio did that?
Swery.
Was it Swery?
That's Swery. And what studio is, I can't remember because all of Swery's studios are fucking dead.
Oh.
Swery
It was the
makes-
same studio that made Dark Dreams Don't Die, right?
No, that studio died, and then he had to make a new one, and that one made Dark Dreams Don't Die, and then that one died, and now he's got a new one in order to make The Best Life. I think that's what it's called. I think that Kickstarter got funded. hope it did.
Have you played Dark Dreams Don't Die?
I have seen Dark Dreams Don't Die, which is
I've
unfortunately part of the problem.
always wanted to play it.
Dark Dreams Don't Die is very unfortunate because it's fucking dead. It was
You mean-
actually a fun premise. and the game looked pretty alright. But the problem is that Swery partnered on with Microsoft for his new studio, which I think was Owl Studios, White Owl. And Microsoft is like, hey, we'll give you a shot. If you sell this expectation of sales, we'll let you continue your series. Because Dark Dreams Don't Die was made in parts. Only part 1 was ever made.
Oh no.
Yep.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I was actually at a I went to go see the Boston, like the video game orchestra in Boston, and Sue Hiro was there. Suda 51 was actually there, and he presented like one of the first trailers for Dark Dreams Don't Die there, and then they played the sound, like the song in the trailer along live. It was actually really cool.
Swery's had a hard life.
Has he?
He's made the best, worst games of all time, and then his studios continuously die on him.
Oh no. Wait, didn't he also make Spy Fiction?
He might have.
I thought
No,
that was a
no,
game of
that's
his. Definitely made Deadly
Hi,
Premonition.
on the rat-a-tat-tat keyboard, looking it up. Fact-checking master.
Yeah, he did.
That game was a nightmare. It was such a good
Oh, wait.
nightmare, though.
Oh wait, no. Was it? Did you play this?
I
at
think I
school or
probably did, because I
You
loved
did.
that game to
something? I
death.
think you did.
But
I can
but
confirm you played that
good
at
lord.
school.
good.
Okay, because it looked familiar, and I remember him playing a really shitty spy
Yeah,
game.
it's like it is really like it's really cool, but it's so like what is this?
It was super entertaining. We just shit on it. Like, the entire
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
Let's
I don't know.
not forget Deadly Premonition is exactly that. Deadly Premonition has health mechanics, stink mechanics, sleeping under the covers, shooting mechanics, running away from the killer, figuring out the mystery, and then telling a guy which sandwich is the best and then being proven wrong mechanics.
I like
Forget not stink mechanics. Stink mechanics. You
Yeah.
have stink mechanics. You wear a suit too long, you stinky. Go change your suit.
you stinky people are less likely to talk to you.
Yep.
I haven't heard of The Good Life
So
though.
goddamn stinky.
So that one is you play as a photojournalist who goes to a town where everyone at night becomes cats.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
I like Swery. I hope that game got funded because I will totally buy that one because that one seems sick. Dark Dreams Don't Die was on the Xbox only at first, so that's why I didn't want to get it.
Yeah. And then it released.
By the time it
on
came to PC,
PC.
I had already seen it, so there was no point.
And the game was dead.
Well, it wasn't dead. Was? No, it probably was dead by that time.
Unofficially dead.
Well, no, there was an actual death date, but whatever.
Oof. That's a fucking oof.
Big
Oh
fucking-
god. I
It's
feel
funny
so
to me
bad.
that Swery and Yoko Taro had very similar careers. Or somewhat similar careers. And Yoko Taro came out on top because he made the two butt.
The two butt.
just
Didn't
wanna
Yoko
take-
Taro also have other games that were commercial successes though?
Were commercial successes?
Yeah, didn't he have something else that was like a actual success?
Please try to enlighten me.
I'm trying to think if there was another game on it because I vaguely remember that there was another game that he was known for before that like
Well, I mean,
did well.
people know his series, but I don't think they've ever done well. They've always been niche as hell.
You're probably I mean you're definitely right on that, but like I thought there was something else that he was a part of that did well. Like Nier's cousin or something. I don't know.
Are you talking about Drakengard? But once again, that didn't sell that
No,
well.
no, because I know that Drakengard did very poorly.
There's Nier your replicant, your gestalt.
Maybe I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong.
I really like butts. Butts are nice.
Butts are nice. Butts are good.
It's a good time. It's officially agreed upon that here in the happy house van, butts are a nice time.
It's unanimous.
Unanimous decision. Butts are solid.
Wait a minute, I think that's... Hold on. I think that's actually the opposite of what we want here.
No. Nice, firm, solid, square butts. We all like them.
Get me that Minecraft porn right now.
Minecraft porn. The Hank Hill butt.
Yes.
Butt squared off.
On the topic of video games, have either of you guys heard of Enderall?
Sounds familiar.
Matt?
No.
Have you? No? Alright. So this is actually really neat. It's something that I found out about relatively recently. And that's because it released very recently. Enderall is a modded, is a game, an entire game that was made originally as a total conversion mod for Skyrim.
Wait, no, I know this game. This came out like a year ago.
Did it? Well,
Yeah.
either way.
An English version was released August 16, 2016.
What?
Yeah, this came out a while ago, my dude.
Steam, you lied to me. Steam lied to me. Steam told me that the release date was in February of 2019.
Not even close.
No, 2016. Okay, all right. Then, hold on.
You gotta flip your 6s and 9s, Jay.
No. It's right here. I'm staring at the Steam page. I'm checking. Okay, it looks like it was added to Steam on the 19th. Or 14th of February.
That would
Okay,
make sense.
all right. Well, either way, it's really cool. It's a sequel to another game, Nerium at Fate's Edge, which is a total conversion mod of
For Oblivion.
It has full voice acting. It changes a lot of the mechanics in the game. It's still a totally open world game that's a little bit more centered. I'm actually looking forward to actually playing it, which I have not done yet. But it adds a lot of unique models and enemies, and it has its own original story and quest line. It's pretty much a game built on the Oblivion engine that is not a game that's built on the Skyrim engine that is not Skyrim, which I think is absolutely fucking radical.
Yes, yeah, total overhaul.
Yeah, it's really cool. It has all its own lore and stuff. If I'm not mistaken, they're also working on a conversion for Morrowind. Although they might have already done it based on my apparent fucking knowledge of their thing. They've also made games for a game for Fallout 3's conversion game. I believe it was Cube Experimental.
Sorry, yawning. I haven't heard of that one, but I did hear that Nerium at whatever for the Oblivion. I remember that a long ass time ago. I do remember that one, but people said it was all right.
Yeah. I think that one was less accepted, but Enderall I looked into reviews and stuff and kind of looked into it. People claim that it's almost better than Skyrim. Throughout, it has
Howard disliked that.
Overwhelmingly positive reviews throughout the whole thing. Which I think is
in the
really
distance at Jason's home, right in his window, you can just see a man, approximately 5 feet and 10 inches, supposedly, staring into his window, with a terrifying frown upon his face.
Oh God, Howard, please no! Don't be disappointed with me. You're everything I've wanted in life.
I'm glad you said God, Howard.
I do not want Todd Howard to be disappointed in me. That sounds so awful. Oh my god.
It's probably not that bad, to be honest. He was in the chess club, you know.
That makes it worse. I don't know how, but it does. Ah.
I want a superpower where I can control chess pieces.
That would be sick.
You know what? Nah, I just want to bring back the fucking old Powers campaign we had.
That was rad.
I just want to bring that back so bad because
Yeah.
I had the most fun with that one.
The toll road.
That was absolutely radical.
That was so
It was
much fun.
Hey, story time. So back in high school, me, Jason, and Kai were all part of the Video Games Corporation, but we also played tabletop games then. I.e., we played a lot of D&D and or homebrew pen and paper RPGs. And I played Dungeon Master quite a bit. And for one of them, I was just like, well, this was after a failed campaign, set off a setting that everyone agreed was pretty cool, but then kind of on. So I was like, fuck it. We're just doing homebrew to the hardest extent. And what I did. So, actually, it's worth noting that the prior campaign was an SMT campaign that died, Shin Megami Tensei. And I had them answer a questionnaire before the actual game in order to determine alignment. And then people got really butthurt about alignment, so that didn't happen again.
Listen. I was the only one that got mad, and it wasn't even because I was mad at you. It was because I told you that I disagreed with the alignment, and then everyone else would bitch at me the whole time that my character acted out of his alignment. Which was totally fine, because it didn't matter.
Anyway, the second campaign, the Powers campaign, the one that happened after the SMT campaign that failed its ass, I had everyone either choose one of a preset power they didn't know they were going to have, as in, I've made you a power based off you. You don't know what it is, but you're going to get it. Or I had them pick out of a hat. And one player opted to pick out of the hat, and I probably should have worked his power a lot better, because I just kind of fucking failed on that one. But whatever. Kai had the Conformist, which was...
Yep.
He could copy other people's power if they were in close proximity and or pedometer in the room. Basically, he was the copycat.
Yep. And that's also got my name on a lot of shit, just the Conformist.
Jason was, he had metal bones, and then he got 3 more powers to compensate. Because the fun thing about this campaign, right, is that I had 4 players. I had Jason, Kai, Pi, and... I think his name was Rowan. No, it wasn't Rowan. Ethan for the campaign? I guess it doesn't matter. We can use their fucking real names. It doesn't matter that much. Unless anyone's going to track back to our history. Actually, what do you guys think? Real names? No?
I mean,
good luck fucking finding.
Yeah, good luck finding.
Not Pi, whatever
Eric.
his name was, because we couldn't.
I have his number, but he won't fucking call me back.
oof.
So yeah, so straight up, the actual players' names, I guess I won't be facetious about it, was Wilder and Eric. But so we had, or am I lying? We had Jason, Kai, Wilder, and Eric, and Jason was he opted to be a part of the antagonists for this campaign.
Yeah.
So we had been split the party, 1 and 3. It started out in a small village, and some guy comes into town really butthurt and broken, and then the 3 heroes help him out, and they become friends. And they slowly gain magical powers, because that's where this has to happen. And back in the day, I was really reading JoJo, and I was really a part of that shit, and I was having a lot of fun with it. And part of it was a lot like that, but not quite. And from what I can remember... Jason immediately got dumped off with a guy who immediately died double his power set, because the way it worked is everybody had a centipede in their body. And if you got that centipede, you got another power. So you want to get the centipedes, get other people's centipedes. The guy Jason was with, his power was
I
to
totally
always be
fucking
wrong.
killed that dude.
Nah, he just died on his own. The guy asked if he was alive, and he said yeah, and then he died.
No, I asked, are you alright? You alive? And then he said yes.
And just... dead in the water. My favorite part was when you were trying to get him to pick out like another guy's eye, and then he was like, "I can't," it's too, and he just rips it out. Because being always factually wrong is an interesting power if you don't know you have it.
Yeah.
So there was... Okay, let's go over the powers once again. Jason had metal bones and then bone manipulation. And then you had one more thing. What was it?
I had metal bones.
Something
yeah,
with muscles, wasn't it?
Bone manipulation. Then I could
Control your muscles.
control my muscles and turn them to steel.
Yeah, and you could do that in order to, like, basically shoot out a bone.
Yeah. Or harden an area if I was getting hit with it.
Yeah, yeah. Kai had the conformist ability, which there's a couple of interesting ways they use that. Wilder was Rumpelstiltskin, and he could weave anything. He could... His power also needed more definition now that I think about it, but he could weave anything out of grass, and it would look exactly and act exactly like the object, except if it would break grass, it could also potentially break that item, turning it back into whatever, or grass as it was before. And then he learned to do that with stone, which was a strange affair. And then Eric had the ability to enter the Shadow Realm. Oh, yeah, Wilder also couldn't do it if people were looking at him. His methods could not be known. If anyone saw him, him doing it, would immediately explode.
It was so good.
Eric could enter the Shadow Realm / bring people into the Shadow Realm with him. I should have defined his power a lot better, but enter the Shadow Realm basically covers it. He just kills people via their shadows. Don't worry about it. Let's see. We also, what do we have for adventures there? We had
What a toll road.
Toll Road. That was your
one of
first
the
fight.
first ones.
That was really cool because I got conscripted into the antagonist side, so I was to chase the party members. And there was one road from the town that we started in to the next town. All started traveling down that road. I was like a day behind them. And they get sucked into their encounter known as Toll Road, which put them off center in time space. So my character beat them to the area that they were supposed to get to first, and then was like, "Well, fuck, I don't know where they are."
And your first encounter, Jason, was with the person that rolled into town and was friends with everyone else. It was Marcus, who had the ability to control brass.
Yes.
Yeah, you fucked up. So you fucked up Marcus. He went into the hospital but wasn't dead / you didn't get his centipede. So the internet had to sneak into the hospital and root his ass.
Yeah.
And then you set out after the main party. So then Toll Road was the thing. Toll Road was the main party would travel down a road, and there'd be a beggar on the side of the road and be like, "Can you spare any change?" And he'd be really sickly and old, and if you gave him money, then you were already trapped. So then way down the road again, you'd find another beggar, but it's probably more of a middle-aged man now. He's kind of all right. He's like, "Can you spare any change for the unfair?" And then you give him some money. And then a little bit later on, you find kind of a downtrodden guy in his luck, but he looks like he could be physically fit enough. And he's like, "Hey, can you spare some change?" And you give him some change, right? And then eventually, you get down to the road, and a fucking behemoth of a man is blocking you, and he's like, "This here's a toll road. You want to pass, you gotta give me some cash."
That's so good.
Toll road. And you try to pay the toll, and then later on, there's an even more buff guy. "This here's a toll road." And the gimmick is that you're on a never-ending road loop, or a planet that is one road that's incredibly small. And it's just the same guy you're giving money to, but the more money he has, the stronger he gets. And that, I actually love how you guys figured this one out, right? So, the way his power worked numerically was the more money he had, the more strength he had. So, what happened is they tested this out. They gave him fake money, and it worked, right? The fake currency, as long as it was believed to be currency, worked for increasing his power. So what they did is they had Kai copy his power, and they had Wilder run around the grass, weaving fake money to throw into Kai's fucking, bosom, so that he could be stronger, and all Kai would have to do is be like, "This here's a toll road." Oh, that's right. Kai also had to mimic the person in order to gain their powers.
Yes.
Yes, I had to act like them.
And then you got enough strength where you hit him and his head flew off into the next town. Unfortunately, that brought the centipede with his head the moment he died, exiting that reality, placing you back in the real world. You fucking cocked your guns that were loaded with gold, made out of grass. You fucking
So
fucking
small.
Oh man.
Pillarman status.
Instant death. Just I. Fucking. And then there was that weird encounter with a gunpowder in the rock. I don't. Let's move on from that one because I don't even remember it that well.
Yeah, I don't remember that one that well
weird
either.
One.
Now that you mention that, I know it's
The
the thing that
gunpowder in
happened.
the rock was a weird event. It's when Wilder got his power up. Then Jason was in town, and Jason met another affiliate of his. That was that guy an affiliate of yours? The Bruce, I think it was.
Bruce. So I befriended him. We hung out in town for a while.
In the bathhouse.
We went naked in a bathhouse, and then I saw a strange man. So I had a weird naked encounter with this guy that I knew something was up with him. And then I encountered the party a little bit later, and there was this moment where I had the entire party ahead of me, and I was actually really fed at this point, so I was way stronger than the rest of them.
Yeah, you
so
had
I went.
three powers at that point, I think, because you found the head centipede that flew off into town.
Yeah, exactly. So I had three powers, and my quirk was not quirk. Damn. My powers were really physical, and none of the others had powers that were physical aside from Kai's. But even so, yeah, depending on whether or not you were mimicking me or not. And I had the drop on them, so I actually caught up to them and started a fight with them. And Wilder's character was like 3 feet tall.
He was a midget.
He was a midget, the whole gimmick was that he would never claim I'll be allowed to like be called a dwarf, and we'd freak out about it. So he was in the middle of a rant about how he's not a dwarf, and I snuck up on him, and I went to go grab him, and use my ability to like pin him in place. But as that happened, Kai realized what was happening, sprinted past me, grabbed him by the shirt, and kept running. So there was a chase after them. And as Bruce and I were sprinting down the road, the guy that I had encountered in the bathhouse walked out, turned, and stopped me. And I was like, what's up, dude? And he was like, yeah, you have one of the centipedes, right? Cool, give it to me. And I was like, no. Also, I gotta go. And then he was like, all right, cool, we're doing this. And then drew his katana. So we started our fight. And I misplayed for the first couple turns, and then got a couple really good hits in on the guy. And then his transformation happened, and all these thorns and roses started appearing out of everywhere, and he got like this cool, sick like transformation. I was like, damn, I'm fucked here. And he brought me down to like a quarter health, and at this point it was a one-on-one duel. And then I was like, Bruce, I need help! Help me out, bro! And he runs in.
Rolled really high.
He runs in, rolls really high, and then Rykov was the name of the person I was fighting, rolled even higher and one-shotted Bruce. And I was like, alright, it's time for me to run away. And then I left Bruce to die. And then he joined the hero party to kill me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bruce did join. After that, you guys, the main party, I remember they went down the road. And they got so the way the map layout worked is there was starting town, which was where the Marcus encounter happened, and on the road from the starting town was Toll Road. Then there was Town B, which I can't even remember the name of, which is where Rykov happened and the encounter with Jason and the main party happened. And then there were 3 separate paths, one to the north, one to the south. Like, I guess north. I think you guys were heading west. Either that or east. It doesn't really matter. Northwest, southwest, and then just pure west. Mm-hmm. And each one had to cross a stream at some point, but they all had different encounters planned for them. And I can't remember how we decided who went which way, but the main party went on to a small mansion area. That was that was that was the obsession, I think it was called.
That was the one with
I
the
remember.
necromancer, right?
Yep, the friendly necromancer. So
Yeah.
I'm the
the,
doll.
the gimmick there is that the party came to a big old mansion and there was a lot of skeledudes around, right? But the necromancer was totally friendly. But he just had something that wasn't friendly in his house. And I think the party stayed a night there, and then in the morning they found him dead, and with a note on him talking about how, as if he's ever dead, he's sorry he can't uphold his obligation. That was it, the obligation. He always had one last thing to take care of, and it was a murderous doll that drew on human blood and had a lot of them. And it was in this. It was. I think the way it worked is it sapped life force / blood from its like wires like a marionette, and it slowly connected those to people / dropping down more and more dolls to try to get your blood. I remember you guys shot a cannon through the roof. That's how you got it.
Yeah.
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 Yep. I also conformed to the doll and had ball joints and was
Yeah.
sprinting around, flailing my arms around, spewing out straight.
Yes, that was correct. That also happened.
That's the biggest thing I remember
my
from
God.
that fight.
After that, they
It's just
after that Wilder weaved the Skelecopter / Skelewagon, which was a
well, because the necromancer, because don't think we stayed there for just one night. I think we stayed there for a while because we hung out with a necromancer for a long time. Because he had the skeleton helicopter, which Wilder then destroyed.
it was a skeleton helicopter,
And then-
which Wilder took back to Town B, then brought back, and then dive bombed out of, which then hit the ground and just
Oh no.
dead.
Because he wanted to go skydiving, and then realized that when he jumped out, there was no one to pilot it. So
Oh,
it
and there was that
fucking
one
crashed.
zombie guy that died too. He was really
yeah.
friendly, and he was helping the pilot, and then he just died in the explosion.
Oof.
No, because then he saw Wilder jump out, and then he followed him. 'Cause he's like, oh fuck yeah.
Yeah, that was
I'll go
it.
with my
that
new
was
friend.
It. And that's how
Oh.
the copter
Yeah.
crashed.
Oh no.
So he wasn't there to pilot it anymore, and just fucking crashed. And flew out.
And then Wilder rebuilt that into the Skelewagon, which was a goat head on wheels, but if it ever caught on fire, it'd become a human skull. Because it was made of
shit.
grass.
Yep. Wasn't there also blood
Yes,
coming out of the
there
eyes?
was.
Yeah.
That was their metal as fuck entrepreneur fucking ride into the next town over. Jason, on the other hand, went down the other path.
I
which
went in
brought
the
him to
opposite direction.
Not quite the opposite. Same general idea direction, but just the wrong way. And then you went to a small town, which basically was just a small trading town that traded by the river, going up and down.
Mhm.
And one of the men who would ferry you across the river, he was like, "Hey, sup? I'll ferry you across the river." And then you totally fought him because I made him super antagonistic for no real good reason.
No, that's not true. He wasn't super antagonistic. What had happened is I had spent the night at his house because he couldn't ferry me over that night, so we went early in the evening, and we got in the boat, and we had already had a moment where we had touched, and we both knew that we had centipedes. And I was like, maybe this guy doesn't know.
That was another thing. Just, I guess we should throw it out there. People
Yeah.
who had centipedes had an unnatural connection to others, / they would know if they were able to touch.
So we had touched, we already knew, and it seemed like this guy was like totally benevolent about it. And we had gotten in the boat, and he had positioned himself behind me, and we got halfway through the river. And my plan was to kill the guy when we got to the other side, so that I could take his centipede, because I had been given a time frame in which I had to collect a certain amount of them, which is why I wanted to kill the party, so that I could get as many as quickly as possible. Also, we did have an encounter before that, didn't we? Didn't I encounter you guys very briefly in the opening area?
You might have.
I definitely didn't fight them, but I thought that I had an
Oh.
encounter with you guys that got cut off momentarily.
Yeah. And then, because then you followed us. but
Yeah,
we got stuck
exactly.
in the road. but it was a very
Yeah, it was
small
very
encounter.
brief. It wasn't like it was just enough for me to be like, all right, these are the guys, and then the encounter that I had with you where I fought Rykov pissed me off a little bit more. But we got halfway across the river, and most of the ride was in silence, and then the guy had stopped and was like, "So I know what you are," and I was started to motion around, and he put the oar against like out, and was like, if you turn around and I smack you. And I was like, all right, cool. And then he had asked me if I killed his family, because he expected that I did that. And then I bluff checked and said yes, and then he attacked me.
Ah, okay.
Because I had bluffed that I killed his family to try and get him like mad at me. And then that turned out to be a really bad idea because we were still in the middle of the lake.
And turns out that was the boss called the Riverman, which was that guy's power was to control the fucking river.
That was a hard fight too, because
Yep.
all of my abilities made me significantly heavier. So if I'm not mistaken, the way that fight started out was him capsizing the boat.
No, you capsized the boat, actually.
Did I? Yes, I
Yes,
did.
You did. Because you were like, I know what I'll do. If he can control the river, I'll capsize the boat so he doesn't have anything to stand on.
Yes, exactly. And I capsized the boat, and then he originally he originally had stepped around and then landed back on top of it. So I punched a hole through the boat.
Yep.
And then it started to sink, and he just gently stepped off and onto the water.
Yep, because that motherfucker controlled the river well enough to fucking walk on water.
And then he started smacking me in the head with the paddle, because I can't stand on water. So
Yep.
I sunk further down, and then I actually I really like how I beat him, because I was like, shit, how can I win this fight by like cheesing it? So I made myself way heavier, and then got out of his range, then lightened back up, and swam back up, grabbed him by the ankles, and then made myself as heavy as I could to pull him under with me. And then he created a bubble of air around his head, so I was suffocating, but he wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I had grabbed him by the one arm by like the shoulder, and the other one I pressed my hand up against him. And I had the ability that in my forearms I could store like what was essentially a small dagger. And
No, what you could do is you were able to recreate your the long arm of the long bone of your arm.
Yes.
So you could have two of those bones if you wanted.
And I
recreate them.
Yeah, and I could have it come out through the where the palm
of your hand.
Yeah, palm meets the wrist. And I had like forced that bone through his lungs so he would drown, and I managed to kill him that way.
Yep, I remember you shot that out because your muscle control technique also allowed you to shoot out bones in that way.
Oh man, that was a tough fight actually. That was a really
fun
a
fight.
really solid fight. Because the entire time I was like, I have no idea how I'm gonna beat this guy.
Yep, and it was a one-on-one too, which made it really fun.
Oh man.
And then afterwards, you got picked up by your employer, Rowan, which actually is why this conversation started.
Yes.
Because Rowan had an interesting power that I liked a lot and that never got to be used because he was a plan to be later boss fight.
Ethan Rook, that was the name of the character originally.
Yeah, Ethan Rook, and then he was Rowan B afterwards. So he fishes out fucking Jason out of the river, half sunken to death, and he's like, "Oh, good job, you actually did it." And he's got a fucking carriage with him, right? And in his carriage is just like, I think it was 18 perfectly preserved bodies, just in there, on the walls.
Yeah.
Just because, he has those.
I was real freaked out by that.
Yeah, just that's the fucking carriage opens up. It's got like fucking an extended bit where you can get more bodies in there. It's fucking that's his fucking carriage. And then you guys drove off to the next area.
Yes.
Which was the capital actually.
That was when Rowan became my partner.
Yes, that was when he did become your partner. And then the capital, I'm still a bit hazy on in parts. I know you met Zed or Ned's informant guy, the zombie that tried to. The guy who twitched around. It was like, hey, you should visit Ned. or Zed, or whatever the fuck I called him.
Mm-hmm. It was Zed because we had Ned the previous tabletop.
I always have a kooky doctor type whose name is either Ned or Zed.
Was it this one or the one before, the SMT one, where I was carrying around the spinal cord that I got from...
I think that was
Zed or
actually
Ned?
a tabletop before that one, actually, where
Okay.
it was the weird detective one where
Yeah.
we never really got off the ground, but it was like I think the town's name was Joseph Set Stone or Joseph's First Stone.
First Stone, yeah.
Yeah, where you and Wilder were detective buddies. Long
Lost Brothers.
Yep.
that got so derailed.
Wasn't my name like Quebec,
did.
Canada or
Oh
something?
man.
I think you guys made it out of town, and that was basically you made it out of town, got to the first dungeon I planned, and then it just died.
I was so mad about that too, because my character got derailed because of the other characters. So I was supposed to be super apathetic in that whole tabletop and be like, yeah, whatever. And then the way that Wilder played forced me to be more in the heat of it the whole time. Mm-hmm. Oh god, it was so frustrating. Yeah.
Welcome to Wilder.
Okay, so when you guys got to the capital in the Powers tabletop, let's see. You, the main party, found the ice vendors, learned a little bit about the town itself, and then were brought by someone, I can't remember who, to the Upper Rafters Church.
So I can shed some light on that
Mm-hmm.
one. Yeah. So the order of events was they had gotten there. We arrived at similar times. I had to go with Rowan because I was officially set up as a what did we call them, witch hunters?
Yes, they were the witch hunters.
So I was to be made an official member of the witch hunters and a member of the court because I was supposed to meet with the prince and the king who I had met.
The way the campaign started is that the prince and Rowan Rowan
to the bank.
Were you talking that entire time?
Did I cut out?
Yes.
Oh no.
Good thing we have the recording to make it even more confusing.
Yeah. So I will reiterate then. Rowan and I went to the bank because I was to be set up in the service of the king, who I had yet to meet. It was in that time that I was supposed to be set up with a new apartment, and the apartment was that of the Marcus, who the party had met at the beginning, and the reason that we were all heading to the capital was because the primary party was given a letter that told them to go to his apartment.
Yep.
They got into an encounter 1 block away from Rowan and I, where they fought the witch hunters. The witch hunters were there.
Sick.
Yeah, the witch hunters were people that were sent to hunt witches, as it were. Air quotes there. The witches were anyone that had an ability, but the abilities weren't known to anyone else. So if you saw someone doing some crazy shit like creating shadows and falling into them, obviously that's not normal. So the witch hunters got called on them.
Yep.
And they had a really sick battle. Then Rowan and I were made aware. Rowan was like, just go to your house. It'll be fine. I don't need you. And I went to the house as their encounter with the witch hunters were wrapping up. We all met at the... we all met at the apartment. And then we got caught by someone else because we were having a dispute. And then Rowan knew who they were, but he was like, go to the church anyways and keep an eye on them. We'll deal with them tomorrow. And then we got sent to the church.
Yeah, who was that guy? Because he was important. What was his name?
The church guy?
The guy who came in for the dispute.
Oh, I can't remember his name.
Because I remember that. You guys both came to the apartment, and then both parties were like, no, we own this.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because you said you owned it because Rowan gave it to you, and the other guy said they owned it because it was in the last will and testament of Marcus.
Yes, and I had the official deed to the apartment because it was taken by the state, but they had the will and testament of the previous owner.
Yep.
Yes.
But who was the guy who came? Oh man, I can't even remember. Either way, the witch hunters were cool because I remember they were my ideal for them, where they were guys with guns, leather bound and in guns, who moved in the shadows to just secretly and overtly kill anyone who was considered a witch.
Mm-hmm.
You guys got trapped in an alley and dealt with them, and you were on the timer because Rowan was trying to get to you.
Yeah, they had a turn timer.
Mm-hmm.
Because if Rowan got to you, that would be fucking bad.
Wait, no, I did go with Rowan. It wasn't.
And then you got.
Yeah, it wasn't just that. It was that Rowan and I were both heading there, and that was almost a guaranteed death for the party. Because if Rowan and I both got there, they wouldn't have been able to fight us and the witch hunters.
Yep.
Oh, that was
Oh
so
man,
cool.
I don't even remember how they got out of that.
They beat them by 1 turn. No, I totally remember that. You guys were on the last turn that you had. You had an opponent at full health, and you guys like rolled a 20 or something on one of your hits, and Eric was the one to get the kill on that guy.
I remember fucking Wilder used a lot of his gunpowder then too.
Yeah.
Because he had the weaving plus the rock weaving plus gunpowder, which was pretty good.
Yeah, that was sick.
Yeah, then you guys got to the Rafters, which was a really cool turning point for the campaign, because the Rafters Church. So the layout of the city was the higher up you were in the community, usually the higher you were up in like the actual physicality of the place as well. But the Rafters Church was an exclusion to that, where almost the poorest of the poor were always at, but it was one of the highest parts of the entire kingdom. And in the Rafters Church, it was like in the high wall, like in the edges of the city, up in the highest part of the wall. And a lot of refugees just slept there for the night, but it was still a church. So it had a nice auditorium bit to it with lots of pews and shit. And I remember you, Jason, was it you or was it Eric's character that first entered the chapel?
I thought we entered simultaneously.
No, I think it was one after the other, because you might have actually. Someone entered after, though. I know that.
I walked in first then, I think.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember walking in first,
so,
and
too.
then you asking Eric, and Eric could still hear them in the other room, and then walked in after me.
So the way that worked is no one could see into the actual chapel itself, and it had 2 dimensions. So they'd always see the chapel as just normal. They'd never see what's actually going on in the chapel. And that was also the time where Eric's character was starting to see a lot more reason with Jason's character.
Oh, it was so cool.
Yep, because Wilder was fucking crazy. Eric's character was actually a banker who was basically only coming here to settle the deed matter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he had no other affairs other than, I just want to get this settled, because his entire job space was back in the starting town running finances.
Additionally,
And,
he was kind of a pragmatist,
Yep.
and throughout he was starting to realize that they were totally on the run, and if the tables started to tip, my plan in that point was to have a real ass conversation with him, as a person to person, to try to sway him onto our side. And it was actually really cool because we were our characters were interacting, and we were sharing a really solid moment. We had drinks right before this the chapel incident, and we were drinking together, and then we got interrupted and walked into the chapel.
Yep, and the chapel incident happened, which was one of my favorite boss fights. That we didn't finish, unfortunately. But
Yep.
that's where it ended. It
right?
ended with one of my favorite design ideas, Reaper in the Dark, which was the way it works is that there are 2 dimensions in the fight, the above and the below, and nobody can see inside of the chapel. In the above, there is the Reaper, which is a guy who runs along the pews. So I don't know if anyone here has actually stepped into a proper church, but usually the way churches are set up is they have the pews and then they have a couple of alleyways, so that when people have to go receive communion, it's easy enough to line up and then walk to the front. And the way he worked is he ran along the pews, dragging a scythe down the alleyways with incredible finesse to run atop the pews. And then in the dark was his shadow, which would fly around the underside, quotations, of the chapel, which was where Eric was fighting, to cut people without them seeing.
Yes.
It was another Reaper, but he flew around in the space underneath. And then Eric had to fight his version, you had to fight the guy on top.
Yeah, that was
so sick.
I want you to know that in my head I had this really sick freeze frame, like where it ended for like the way that it ended was that description, and then Eric and I standing next to each other, but we couldn't see each other, and then each facing down. So I have this like great mental image of the two of us standing next to each other with like a barrier between us, facing down our respective opponents, and it was this radical moment where we were finally gonna fight together, which would have been awesome.
Together but separate. Ah, man, it was fucking... I love that campaign so much, because it was some of my most fun ideas thrown into the pot. And, it was messy, it was hot, and it was fucked at places, but, man, was it fun. The why of it ending it, though, was because I'm pretty sure the school year ended.
Yeah, that was it.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
And then...
It was like at the end of the school year, and then you just didn't
that was brutal.
Was that...
continue.
Was that the year after that I had to go into surgery?
That was the...
Like, did that year end and then the next year started and I had to go into surgery?
No. You had come back from surgery for a couple months, and that's when we started hardcore playing games again.
Yes, that was it.
Yeah.
Because I had only had the last parts of the school year left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was a weird time. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. That was such a weird year.
Yeah.
Like, that was such a weird year. Because you were there, but you weren't. And then there was that weird portion where you came back for like a week and then had to go back out for several months. So you were back very briefly and we're like, Matt's back, and then you were like, no, I'm leaving again.
No.
Because you were bedridden for like a year.
I was bedridden for 9 months.
Oh fuck. I do not fucking envy that, my dear.
Nearly killed me again. It doesn't really feel like it nearly killed me, but it nearly killed me, which is the funny part.
Oh man.
And yeah, that was not a fun time.
No. Oh, big oof.
But man, fuck, I love all of our tabletops. I just hate how I am incapable of fucking finishing anything.
Well, all right. To be fair, everything that we were doing would have finished naturally because we were all super into it all the time. But it was always a like inopportune thing. So most of our D&D campaigns died because we just stopped doing it at school, and we'd start up another campaign relatively shortly after.
Well, I mean, I've also killed the Yu-Gi-Oh tabletop twice over.
Right. But so then we were doing like various tabletops, which always ended for one reason or another. My Star Wars tabletop originally died not because of like anyone that's here currently, but because one of our players, Wilder, postponed by like 3 weeks. Then we played 1 week, and then he kept being like, no, don't play without me, and then it just continued to be pushed off until eventually.
And then we played without him,
stopped.
and then it just kind of died.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, also, when we did play with him, his character just constantly was trying to fuck with everyone's shit.
That too.
And it just
he almost killed the
everything.
entire party. He tried to blow up the spaceship that they were on in motion. Oh, that was bad.
Because it might send him back in time.
Oh, that was bad.
But he didn't.
And then the most recent tabletops,
So
I mean, all of them have ended for like creative reasons.
Well, so I'm gonna put down some fucking hot takes, I guess. The Yu-Gi-Oh tabletop died twice.
Mm-hmm.
The first death, I am sorry to say, that is half assist. That's like, if we could have played Yu-Gi-Oh the game itself faster, I think it would not have died, and I wouldn't have been a little bitch. But I was a little bitch, and it died.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I could bring it back if I was able to fucking hack into YGO Pro and make an adaptive system for that, so I could actually like modify the game while it's happening. Because that's possible, but that takes a lot of fucking coding. But it's possible. And the second time it died, I just couldn't get into it anymore. I was fucking done. I was just... There was too much to make, too much to do. I wanted so much, but couldn't do it enough because I didn't put enough effort towards it. And if I did put enough effort towards it, it'd be fucking monstrous. But...
I mean, to be fair though, you were also really burnt out because we had just done 5 tabletops in like a 2-month span. Because we went from we started Pacts, which was a really cool tabletop. that was entirely Matt's homebrew. Then while we were playing Pacts, we started the Yu-Gi-Oh tabletop. Then I started, in addition to that, a 5e campaign. So we were running three tabletop nights a week, playing various games.
And I was still working too.
Yeah, we were both still working. So it was basically every single moment that we had that was outside of work was spent either creating content for them or preparing for them or playing them. And that burnt us out really quickly. Because like my tabletop only lasted like 3 sessions and then died super hard.
Yeah, because it also fucked with our timetable, I remember.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was doing that on Thursdays. Friday we had Yu-Gi-Oh, and then it was Tuesdays that we were doing Pacts. And
we also had to get Kai's friend in on that. Who was that guy?
Josh.
Yes. That was it.
Josh. Well, didn't we do it where we did it? It was only 2 nights a week that we would do tabletops because we would switch
what happened after.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
That happened. That happened after, but there was a point for like 2 weeks where we were trying to run 3 days a week, and it just wasn't working. And then we swapped to the alternating weeks.
Yep.
Well, I thought it was we would do the 3 a week because we would do the one on Tuesday with the plan of alternating, but then sometimes we would all just be free and we'd be like, "Fuck it, let's just play Yu-Gi-Oh!"
That too. It was.
So it wasn't more like a plan to do all of them in 1 week,
hot
but it was kind of just like
it was a lot. Like it was a lot,
exactly.
and then Yu-Gi-Oh died, and Pacts died because Yu-Gi-Oh was taking up too much time because that was such an intense game for you having to create assets.
That was so.
Jesus.
I guess we should get this on record. So the way I wanted to do this is I wanted to build stats into the game so that because my players, I knew they didn't know how to play Yu-Gi-Oh that well. I wanted them to be able to experience both a deck creation system and like, hey, if shit's not going your way, let's pull off an anime moment and you can get shit out of your ass. So we specifically played on not an automated system. One that a third party could interfere with, which slowed down the game a lot because I didn't realize just how well you guys actually knew the game, which was very little. And in order for me to build any deck in that game, I'd have to upload every image that came with a deck of cards. So 40 cards deck, usually at least 20 original images that needed to be uploaded and then repeated multiple times in order for the cards to be there. And let's not forget rulings, shenanigans, and how often you guys needed to check and read stuff. And then, there was a lot in there. Playing the game took a long time, and sort of making the actual decks a thing took a long time.
Yeah. Oof. Even adding cards on the fly, too. That wound up happening, and it would take like 10 minutes to get anything uploaded just because Roll20 was so slow. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Yeah, and then that, we required more time, so Pacts died out. And then Yu-Gi-Oh started to die out.
I also got kind of salty in PAX because I was really fucking bad at it. I did things wrong so often that I know you guys didn't care about, but I cared about a lot.
That is the worst feeling of having an idea and then like having this wonderful idea and then not being able to present it properly. That's another reason why my 5e campaign died, because I had this world that I really liked, but it was the other issue is that it was sloppily put together in 3 weeks. So it was one of those like, all right, so here's the general idea, here. And the other thing is I only had PDFs of the books, so I would I had a vague idea, I knew how to run a 5e campaign. I knew like how it worked, but I wasn't 100% on the rules. So I had Kai have all the PDFs open at the time so that he could just scroll through and read the rule to me, and I'd be like, oh, that makes sense. So it was me like half knowing and having like it took me like 20 minutes to open a PDF and find the thing if I was looking for it myself. With the players then not knowing what they were doing because it was all of their first campaigns. And they were all playing those standoffish kind of characters that are uninteractive with the world, which is kind of the worst. Yeah. It was just one of those things where 2 of the 3 characters wouldn't interact or do anything, so then we had one character that was doing everything, and I tried to incorporate others, And then what wound up happening was because they didn't really know what they were doing, I had to have a DNPC, or a Dungeon Master non-player character, which was my character in the journey with them. And then it wound up being like two of the characters, one of them being one of my players, and then me playing the game with them, and we would do everything because those were the two that were the most talkative. And then the campaign just kind of ended naturally.
I feel like,
and I really didn't like it because I totally bastardized the ideas that I had, which is something that I realized about it, is that I need to be very passionate and stick to the ideas that I have initially and not kind of change it unless it's something that really needs to be changed.
Well, also didn't really
That's
get
true.
that far to deal
they
with
barely
change
made it out of the fucking
You
inn.
literally were in the starting. I mean, they made it out of the inn, and then that was the last thing that we.
Well,
ever
no,
did.
no,
That
no.
was the
They made it
last
out of the
session.
inn. They made it to so it was yeah. So it was
Did they make it
meant
to
to
the
be
next place?
that they would start in the inn, leave the inn, go through the coronation ceremony, and leave the starting town in the first session. But the entire first session got postponed by 3 hours due to scheduling errors. Then them entering the town, getting into an impromptu fight in the tavern, which took up the rest of the session, and then because the one of the players killed one of the enemies that was trying to kill them, but they were unarmed, the other player character that was not part of the that hadn't aligned with the other two players yet tried to kill the other party member, which put them at complete odds from the very beginning.
Yep.
And I want everyone to know that's how
Yep.
every D&D session I've run, every specifically D&D, has started and ended. In the tavern it starts, in the tavern it ends.
PAX was a really cool campaign because there were only 3 players, and the first thing that happened to my character is he got punched 20 feet or so through the wall of the tavern out into the town square.
No, the first thing that fucking happened in PAX was like, okay, everyone make your characters. Josh waltzes the fuck in. He's like, all right, I put everything into strength. I just have 63 strength. And I'm like, you don't want anything else? No, just 63
Okay.
strength. And I'm like, all right, here's your hit die.
All right. I love what happened there because Kai and I had like shown up approximately on time. We had our characters made. There were a couple last minute things that we were adjusting, and then Josh showed up like 10 minutes late. And the thing that I really loved about Josh is that every time he spoke, he always came in with a little bit of a crackle. It was always a little bit muffled. So he popped in and was like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" And and then we were like, "Did you make the character?" And we were already like 20 minutes in at this point to when we were supposed to start. And he was like, "Nah." And then I could already hear like Matt's slight annoyance of like, "Oh, okay, all right, that's fine." And then explain it, and then he was like, "Don't worry, it'll take me 5 minutes." And Matt was just kind of like, "Huh, all right." And then less than 5 minutes later, he was like, "So every point I put into this is another, point for this," and then sends it over. And Matt's like, "You put all 63 points into strength, huh? Okay. You also didn't take any skills." And he was like, "Yeah, it's fine." And I just had this mental image of Matt, who was silent for like 40 seconds after that, just completely bright red with steam almost billowing out of his ears, like, It was also the first time
I was more dumbfounded than anything.
we had never met Josh before that moment.
Yeah, that's true. And then the first thing he does is Jason waltzes his pretty ass into the bar, and fucking Josh is like, all right, I want to punch the strongest guy here. And I'm like, that guy looks pretty strong, points to Jason. And he's like, yep, I punch him. And then he fucking rolls strong enough to nearly fucking kill him.
So, all right. So, my character had a skill that allowed him to block. But Matt had convinced Josh to take an ability that would immediately break any blocks. So it was so funny. Matt was like, "All right, you go to punch. Jay, you want to do anything here?" And I was like, "I guess I'll raise my shield. I guess I'll use, I'll block it." And then he was like, "Josh, do you want to use what was it, Crusher?" And then he was like, of course I want to use Crusher. And then goes through and punches me through the wall, dealing like 65 damage when I had 30 health. Overkilled me. And then after that, he was like, well, Jason's unconscious. And then Josh was like, wait, that was you? And I was like, yep. And he was like, oh, I didn't even realize. All right, cool. It was so good. It was so great.
Oh, it was great. And then me and Josh just
Yes,
became
because you were basically
drinking
my
buddies.
indentured servants. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yep.
And then I became the first boss. That was really cool.
That was so much fun. I love
That
that
was really
campaign.
sick.
There we go.
It was so much fun. I was a sweet
Oh,
gunslinging motherfucker.
Yeah, that was sick. And then, oh my god,
Yeah. But dude, we got up to so much shenanigans.
we always
in
got
that.
to do the
Maybe
coolest
we always
stuff.
get to
And
crazy
there was
shenanigans,
a
but-
penchant. Like there's a thing that happened
Dude.
at the end of every single session where in the middle of the session I would do something and then like Matt would have a moment and be like, oh man, that's better than what I actually wrote here. Okay. And then we'd end, and every single time Matt would be like, well, thanks Jason for being a better DM than I am, and then just kind of log off. And we'd be like, no, Matt, buddy, we love you. Let's keep playing.
Jason had both made a better boss fight than I had anticipated on the impromptu by being like, oh yeah, this is how I want to do this. And he wrote a better solution to my mystery ending than fucking I had. Because it would have made more sense. Fuck.
So
I had...
the what happened is in our first session, the first fight that we had, or to kind of explain a little bit more, there were 3 players. It was me, it was Kai, and it was Josh. And I was playing as this character. His name is Alexander, and he was a general to this kingdom that was being first formed, and there was only one city so far, and we were in that city. Kai was playing this character named Arsene, who was a gunslinging dude who was really sick, and kind of like a nonchalant mercenary guy. And then Josh was playing this character named King, who is just this fucking shredded dude that never really wore a shirt, that could punch.
Nope.
He had a
He was
1
a
in
giant.
every single stat with the exception of strength. So he would move really slowly, but he would kill anything in one punch. So when we had the immediate like fight, quotation marks fight, where I got punched through a wall and then they got arrested. So I was like, all right, I need to form a team to go like do the plot stuff. So these guys are coming with me. You guys will be released from prison, and you're like you know, assaulted an official officer of whatever. So if you guys sign this contract saying that you'll be with me until I release you from servitude, I'll let you go. I'll pay you. Your wages will be like solid, but you cannot leave until I like let you out. And they signed up with me, and the first thing that I had to do was test their skill. So I brought them into the courtyard, the main courtyard, which was a public area. And I had intended for it to be a closed area, but it was instead the entire town was there. And I had a 2v1 against them with a couple grunts around me, to help test their mettle. And there was this really sick battle the whole time going through, because there was like this razor's edge point where if either of them managed to get a good roll on me, they would immediately tip the scales in their favor. But I had just enough abilities to constantly be able to like put the pressure on them to keep them separated.
You had really good hit and run.
It was a really solid, like really cool battle that we had, and the whole time, the way that like the campaign was headed beforehand was kind of like putting us at odds, but it was a really good way for us to like kind of recoup our like friendship, and there was a lot of really good subtlety. And every time I would attack Kai, he would dodge, and he would always get like his roll would only be like 1 or 2 like above mine, so it would just be a barely dodging all of my attacks, and then attacking me, and I dodge him, and it was this really cool back and forth that we had that ended with there was a mechanic that Matt had created. It was called malice, and the idea is humans could accrue malice, and if they got too much, they would transform into a demon. And one of the grunts that I had gotten knocked down and beaten at the very beginning, so the entire time he was accruing malice until he transformed into a demon right before we were about to land the final hit on each other. And so we turned around and we're like, all right, cool, we're going to go beat this thing up. And then we beat it in a single hit. It was really cool for us to have that moment where we got together and really banded together as a party. That was awesome.
Yeah, you...
Was that
Yes,
also when
and then he
Josh
didn't use it.
got
Yeah.
his malice, though? Was that also in that
Yes.
first fight?
He
Yeah.
was able to suppress his malice, and he didn't become a half.
Oh, he didn't use it, that's right.
And then, yeah, that was a really, like, Matt, that was an unbelievable campaign. Like, that was so much fun.
Well, I mean, I really enjoyed the fucking
I really
second
enjoyed
session,
it.
which, so the second session, they set out into the fucking woods because in the New Kingdom they need to expand the territory, but it's said to be fucking a curse and they don't know what in the fucking woods. Because two rivaling kingdoms have been fighting over this woods, and they couldn't really figure out what the fuck's in it. So they're expanding into it, right? And the first thing they fucking find is a guy having his own Last Supper. And fucking, he's just dirty-ass motherfucker with a ripped-ass hat, worn-ass backpack, and a long-ass trench coat in the middle of the fucking woods with a tablecloth, menorahs, and fucking just food all over it. And it's, like, delicious. And he's just like, yeah, come and eat.
It was so good.
And that was, he didn't have a name, but I think we renamed him Walter.
Yeah.
And then they proceeded to go deeper into the woods. They met an old man, and the old man read him a fairy tale. And it was, when the old man read them the fairy tale, he was very menacing and evil old man, right? And, he read them the fairy tale, right? And it transported them into a different fucking dimension. And immediately a fucking anthropomorphic lion greets them at this mansion doorway, and he's like, officers, I'm glad you could make it. And they had to solve a fucking murder mystery.
It was so good.
It was so much
It was so
fun.
radical.
I loved that so much.
So I have a big obsession with fairy tales. Like, straight up, I absolutely adore Grimm's fairy tales. I have a whole book on them. I fucking love them. I have studied them. They're great. And this was based off the fairy tale, The Fox's Wife. Which, in the original fairy tale, it's just a fox who pretends to be dead to see if his wife is faithful or not. And in this one, I took all the characters and made them suitors at this party for Mr. Fox. And Mr. Fox had been found dead. True blue dead. Guy's fucked. And each individual, Mr. Owl, Mr. Lion, and Mr. Wolf, were all kind of suspect. A little bit. And then there's Miss Fox and Miss Cat, and those were all the characters. And they had to explore the mansion, find out evidence, and interrogate each individual. The running joke of the campaign was that King was overpowered. And this continued in here because I remember at one point, I can't remember why, but we gave him human lie detecting.
But no. It was because he refused to do anything. So he sat in the middle of the floor and just sat there and listened to everything. And he did this for like 10 turns. And just didn't do anything, was just listening the whole time. So eventually you were like, you clear your mind and you can hear the heartbeats of these individuals.
That's right, and that's how he got a fucking human lie detecting. Which ended the campaign, or ended the session with, "Did you kill Mr. Fox?"
So
And then punch if lie.
It was the greatest moment. There were so many really amazing moments here.
God.
Because what had happened was we had gotten all of the clues. We had already been piecing everything together. And my character was finally like, yes, I figured it out. And I started going on this 10-minute Phoenix Wright style this is everything that happened. And the whole time, all of the you could see all the characters that were around us were like, oh no, he's putting it all together. And I get to the very end of it, and I'm like, so now that we know what happened, it's time for the suspect. And I point at the dead Mrs. Fox, who is the Mr. Fox's the dead Mr. Fox's wife, and I was like, and she did it. And it was this really intense music where Matt had music playing in the background that was really fitting and all of that, and then Matt paused the music the moment that I did that, and everyone in the room were just communicatively jaw dropped and like, what? And there was this really intense moment that led to that, and I was like, oh no, is that not the truth? All right, and the whole time up to this, King had been like, we can just punch them. I can just tell if they're lying. And we were like, no. We're going to do this the right way. We're going to do this the right way. And then finally, after this moment of silence, it was like, all right, King, human lie detector, let's do this. And then just went one at a time to each of them and asked them if they had killed the Mr. Fox.
Yeah.
Well, because also, before you went on your whole speech thing, because you and me got super
Oh
into
my
it,
God,
and we're
that's
like
right.
sharing notes and all this stuff, and we talked about what we were gonna do, and then we decided on something, like, okay, and then you went on the speech, and then you finished off with accusing Mrs. Fox, and I stood there and I was like, this isn't what we discussed.
That's right. I just went on
Where did this fucking come from? It's yeah, and we're all just stood there like, what the fuck? Why? No. And then I was just like, King, just
And then we
do
went up
fucking
one
shit.
at a time. We're like,
God damn it.
Mr. Fox, or Mr. Lion, did you kill him? And then every time, if someone lied, King would just punch them like through a wall. And was it Mr. Owl that he punched all the way into the ceiling, but his head went through the ceiling and his body just hung there limp?
I think so. Either that or it was Mr. Wolf.
Oh my God. It was all of that. I also tried to hit on Mrs. Fox in that
You did?
session. Oh man, it was a good time.
Yeah, he did.
For anyone actually curious, the lead up to the setup for the crime was that Mr. Fox died at dinner. He was giving a grand speech to all of his friends because he had loved and he had renewed his vows with his wife and got new rings for it. Put on the ring, ate some food, drank his wine, died. And each individual at the party had a different way of attempting to kill him, quotations. So Mr. Wolf had poisoned his food because he was a vegetarian only, and he knew which food to poison, so he waltzed into the kitchen, dabbed some fucking sweet-ass poison onto them fucking cherry tomatoes that he loved so much, walked right out. Mr. Owl had poisoned his cup by sitting right next to him with sleight of hand that people had known he was able to do. And Mr. Lion actually had crafted his rings a couple weeks ago, but that's where the actual plan comes into play. Mr. Lion and Mr. Fox were in on it, and they were fake poisoning him. There was a whole thing where he pricked his finger with the ring, and that was a sleeping agent or something, where he would have been falling asleep, and it would have seemed like he was dead, but he wasn't actually, because that follows the original fairy tale a little bit closer. And Mr. Lion was lying to say that he did, but he didn't, and he didn't realize that he was actually dead. He thought that the plan was going through, but he didn't realize that, no, his best friend's actually dead right now.
Oh man.
And Jason had suspected that Mrs. Fox killed her husband in collusion with everyone else at the party by tempting them so that she could be lesbian lovers with her maid, Mrs. Cat. Which, to be honest, I thought was really actually a better ending than what I had initially proposed. And I was like, shit! Jason wrote a better ending again!
It was a really good moment where I was like, all right, so there's the three suspects, and these three, like, they're totally obvious that one of these three did it. But what if she did it to be lesbian lovers with her maid?
And, yeah, then you guys beat the mystery encounter, then you had the weird boss fight with the thorn patch. Which was, there was an eye in the middle of a bunch of thorns, and it kept shooting tentacles at you and trying to kill you, and then you guys killed that, don't remember how.
We just hit it until it died.
Yeah, basically.
King.
Yeah, that...
Thorn
Was
Knight!
also the Thorn Knight
the Thorn-
before
that
the
was
book
before.
or after?
That's what I was talking about earlier, when
Okay.
you have an idea that you think is really sick, but it falls flat in its fucking face. The Thorn Knight was kind of a callback to Rykov, but it was just as a reeing mad knight in the middle of the woods who had decorative thorn armor. Who just got fucking cursed?
Absolutely. Cause I rolled.
Yeah.
Yeah, King did
And then
eat him.
King ate him.
King actually ate him.
Basically ate him. Well,
Well, because we forgot to bring food, but then we're like, oh wait, we met that
And as
Walter
we
guy.
came
we'll
back-
go
And
see,
King's
get
just
food from
fucking
him.
cannibalizing this
then-
dead ass old
wearing his armor.
And then,
He
yeah.
was wearing his armor
He's like,
that
"Nah,
didn't
I'll just
quite
eat him."
fit right.
Yeah.
So they're
Yep.
poor. Yeah, exactly.
Except he wasn't wearing the chest piece because he
Jesus
had to be
Christ.
shirtless.
But like, no, Matt, that also wasn't your fault though, because you had designed him with normal players in mind, and then I had taken skills that made me super strong with certain attacks. So I used my strongest attack on him, did more than half of his health in a single strike, and then King one-shotted him after that.
And then I was just in the background dodging
Yep.
and rolling and running
Let's see, what else happened
around.
in that campaign? There was the guy with the ghost chalice, the ghost reloading pistols thing.
Yes.
Yes!
You
I
did. You
I
had your
became
own
Guido
version of Sex
Mista.
Pistols, but with ghosts.
So cool.
There was
It was so
the
fucking
guiding
good.
post that threw you guys into a wall for some reason, but you never figured out why and just left. The fire spirits
Yes.
in the one town, and then you immediately glazed over to that.
My best boy,
That's what happened.
Hercules!
Yep, your best boy, So, yep.
Yes.
They got a donkey-drawn carriage going on, but one of the donkeys was fucking jacked. His name was Hercules, and at one point in the campaign, it was the chariot carriage. That was it. It was a chariot of a fucking donkey.
My character was based on Achilles, who's known for his chariot, so Matt proposed the idea that I make a chariot, but there weren't enough horses in the town, so they gave me donkeys instead.
Yep. And one of them was jacked, and his name was Heracles, or Hercules. And at one point, Hercules just stops. The entire chariot just crashes into every other donkey, and just his weight stops them all. He looks Jason dead in the eyes, removes his skin to get out of the collar, and leaves.
That was awful.
And then you kept wearing the fucking... Yeah, that was it. And then you kept the skin, and then you got to the fire town, which is where you guys got mad high. And then you were wearing the skin as you saw Heracles in the distance telling you to do it.
Oh, man. That was absolutely correct.
Yep.
Yep.
Don't forget,
Oh my
we
God.
also
You did?
kidnapped a small child,
No, no, no,
killed
no, no,
her,
no, no,
brought her
no, no,
back
no,
to
no,
life,
No, because we had...
and then
No, this is too
Yeah,
No,
so,
wait, no,
so we
wait.
got to the town. We went to the
Yes.
bar, and we were with a party member, Edward. Edward had a chalice that would create ghosts that Kai really wanted, because the ghosts would reload his guns for him. So we were trying to get that from him.
which I desperately needed.
But he could only give it to someone for an exchange of their daughter's hand in marriage.
A king's daughter.
Yep.
So
A king's
we came up with this
daughter.
brilliant idea that what if King had a daughter and tried to give it to him. So we went to a random town and we were like, what if we can convince some girl that she is King's daughter and then hand her off to Edward? So we met this girl in the tavern that was like, yeah,
Yep.
that's believable. And then we didn't fill King in on this plan. And since he had a 1 in everything else, he was super easy to convince of most things. So Kai and I were like, oh, yeah, no, this is your long-lost father. And King was like, that sounds right to me. And then, but he was a little suspicious, so he was like, you know what? If you're really my daughter, then you can take a punch. And immediately, without waiting for her reaction, punches her in the stomach as hard as he can, severing her spine on the other side, killing her, once again, in a single blow.
No. Hold on. You have to remember fully how this happened. Where
Well,
he
she
gut
did-
punches
she-
her so hard, she immediately starts vomiting.
Right.
Crumples to the ground in her own vomit.
Oh my god.
Spews blood, and it is found that her body is actually disjointed, but you can see where her fucking spine is
That's
severed.
correct.
Because it killed her in one fucking hit.
How did we save her life?
You,
And
Yes.
you did get
Yes.
lucky.
because I got a lucky, I think, and I saved her, and I used my lucky to
There was a mechanic in
basically
that game
just keep
called
her
Lucky,
alive.
Where if you, so whenever you rolled a d20, if you got your specific number, you could do whatever you want. It was straight up God mode, and it had to be your number. It was actually a critical success, but you had to dictate which number it was instead of a 20. And Kai and Jason both chose 13.
Yes.
Because you're.
Yep.
Yeah, you did, which was actually.
And
really
King
fucking
chose
smart,
1.
'cause I didn't think about that.
Yeah, it was really fucking smart.
Yeah, so Kai saved her. We brought her to the hospital. We were waiting there. The boss that we before this area, we had an encounter in a castle where all three of us had a fight that we could do on our own, which is a one-on-one boss. So Kai got this giant horse monster demon thing.
The Musician of Bremen,
Yes.
which was a horse mouth with a rat somewhere in it, with a man and a Was there a cat or a dog in there? It's probably
I
a
think
dog.
it was a dog.
Dog and
Yeah.
a cat. It was an amalgamation of flesh that was trying to sing,
I think it was a dog.
Uh,
and it chased you through a fucking
Jesus
hallway.
Christ.
Yeah, it was great. It was my
And I gave
character
you
I
a
based off of
Ludwig-esque fucking
Bloodborne,
boss.
kind
So
of
cool.
loosely,
Yes.
and
Yep.
it was awesome.
And then-
me and Edward fought him.
That left.
It was
That
so
left
fucking cool.
King and my character in a room alone together. Then a short old man with a bowler hat walks out and is like, He was talking about rats, right? That was his thing.
No, 7 in 1 blow.
Yeah, no, but he was
Bugs.
he was
Little
talking about
bugs.
He called you all like
yes.
bugs.
Oh, yes. And throws my character like once again pretty much through a wall or over some debris as the castle was crumbling, so I couldn't get back over into the fight. And then King fought him, which was another sick battle.
That battle I actually want to talk a
Yep.
little bit about. Fucking.
Yep.
But no, go on real quick because we are kind of running out of time.
That's
Keep
true.
going.
So then the next battle that we had was my battle, which was against this assassin that could conjure fire, and the other two had these really cool, really intense battles. But once again, I got a really good hit in from the beginning, which put her down below her like half health mark. She rolled to attack me and got a 1, so she critically failed. Couldn't. Then tried to do another attack after that critically failed again, and it wound up hurting herself. And then I finished her off in the by knocking her down and knocking her unconscious. As she then lit the rest of the castle on fire, and it just immediately erupted in flames everywhere.
The
The
Bumble,
Bumble
Lord.
Lord.
I want to note that I had 2 songs set up for that character, right? But I immediately ditched both of them for Groos's theme because she was bumbling so fucking hard.
It was so good.
So, fucking Josh.
Oh, I also had
Oh god, that was
an
right.
Yes,
encounter
you
with
did.
the Elder
So,
Gods also.
There was
with my,
so
at,
malice
at
was
the
a
end
fun
of my
mechanic.
fight.
Malice was a mechanic that was basically it turns you into a demon, but there was something called deep malice. Deep malice was a rare breed of malice that came from a place unearthly. So deep within the grimoires, which is the thing that sent them into the fucking book realm or the fairy tale realm, there was elder gods essentially hiding, which was where deep malice comes from. And fucking Kai goes to a room and there's just this black orb that's dripping in midair, and he fucking looks at that shit, and he's transported to a realm of which faceless god entities in the sky kill him thousands upon thousands upon thousands of lifetimes worth of times as he sees the destruction of humanity and all is ruin as the giant sky gods laugh at them. And then he's just brought back to life right there in the room that he never left, and he gains 1 deep malice.
It was so good.
Fucking Josh's fight though, I love that one. So
It's
there's a
fucking
fairy tale called 7 in 1 blow,
Yes.
or the tiny tailor, and it's a guy who kills seven flies with 1 swing of his hand. He's like, oh, I'm so cool, I should embroider this on a shirt, and he does, and he goes around wearing it, and it says 7 in 1 blow, and people think he means, oh, I killed 7 people in 1 blow, and hijinks ensue because he's a crafty little bastard. But I was like, hey, what's a really good counter to King? His own build against him. So I took the fairy tale aspect of 7 in 1 blow, made it a guy just as strong as him, and pit him against him. But King had decided to buy spirit stones in bulk earlier in the campaign, which don't do anything. They're a joke item. But he was like, nah, I'm buying all of them. So much so he went into debt
By a lot
for
of money.
spirit stones. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave him a new ability, which he could sacrifice spirit stones. I really wanted to get Josh engaged because I could tell that he was a fun player, but he needed to have more ways to engage. So I wanted to force him into positions where he could make his shit up and do stuff. And that's where he became overpowered a lot of the time. But it was fun because I forced him to engage. And the ability I gave him allowed him to make a new ability. If he sacrificed enough spirit stones, it's like he could gain 1 to strength permanently for sacrificing a spirit stone. He could prevent death by sacrificing a spirit stone, which is another big problem of his toolkit. and then he can make new abilities for a bunch of spirit stones. Then he made his new ability, which was fucking... He became King Crimson from JoJo Part fucking 5, where he... Oh my god, like, how did he even do this? I can't even remember. He punched time, disrupted the flow of time, so that 7 in 1 blow punched himself via time shenanigans. And then he just beat the shit out of him as well because he couldn't die.
It was so good.
It was actually pretty sick, because I had hype music added for everything as well. Fucking Josh was such a shitter. Like, I asked everyone to give me character themes. Like, hey, when you do cool stuff, we can play your theme. And he's like, I found this off of Naruto AMV. Here you go. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. So that... I played with it too, because that's when that 7 in 1 blow fight, I took up another Naruto AMV song, essentially, and just threw that in there. And like, yeah, I can play that game too.
It was so good. Oh man.
Yeah, you got to town. You
Right.
So,
yes. So the reason that that we got on that tangent was because we were in the hospital waiting for like this girl's prognosis, because we had brought her back to life and immediately needed to get her to like safety, and
you barely saved
her life, and we're waiting in the waiting room, and I see Bumble Lord standing however far away from us, and my lucky was 13, as was Kai's, and she starts to attack me by throwing knives at me. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to catch the knife. I should be fast enough to do this. So I catch the first knife, and I roll a 13. And Matt's like, oh, all right, cool. What do you want to do? And I was like, all right, catch the knife, and I was trying to persuade her to become a part of our party. And so she keeps throwing knives at me, and I roll 5 consecutive 13s in a row, catching the knife every time.
All of them, walking slowly to her, and basically cabadon her by fucking like grabbing her hand. It's like, fucking join us, fucking suave ass sexy motherfucker.
And as she's running away from me, she starts to like because she can conjure fire, starts to flare up, and then she throws something at me again, trips, and then catches a stall on fire from a merchant. And I run over and I'm like, I'm so sorry. And then I put out the flame, right? That was it. And I was like, I'll be back, and then left to go get her, and then I came back. And why? What was the reason? The guy claimed that I saved his livelihood.
Well, because he owed you like a life debt, because you saved, or not a life debt, but he owed you
his life's work. Yeah.
And
I saw.
And then he gave you his daughter.
Yeah.
I saw. Yeah.
Yep. Well, because Jason came back to the hospital, he got the Bumble Lord, went back to the hospital and got me, and we both went to the stall, because you were like, oh, this guy's owes me this huge debt, and I was like, I wonder if he has a daughter. So I went over to him, and we went to go cash in that debt, and we were like, hey, do you by chance happen to have a daughter? And he's like, yes, I have 2. I don't know where the other one is right now, but here I have my other younger daughter. You can have her. So it turns out that we almost killed his first daughter, and then took his other daughter from him.
She was like 9 years old, and the other girl's name was Erica. And we were like, oh, what's your other daughter's name? And he was like, Erica, and we were like, oh.
Yeah, and we also had him sign
make it illegal
some paper, something to legally transfer over the parental rights from him to King. So she would be King's daughter, so he could give her away to Edward. But then Edward's like, she's 9 years old. I don't want this.
The cup anyways, because we had
he just gave me the fucking
scheme.
goblet anyways.
Yep. I also want to point out, in case you forgot this, the other girl you punched, the girl that King punched, came back to life and got up out of her hospital room, immediately walked to the wall, parted it with her hands, parted the wall, just gently touched parts of the wall, and then walks off with Hercules, the fucking skinless donkey right there. And they just walk off.
Yes!
Yes, he does.
Well, doesn't Edward join them also? Yeah, Edward, Hercules, and Erica just formed their
B-team.
own
Yep,
party.
they just walked
much
off.
stronger than us.
Man. Oh, it was so good.
The campaign ended. I'll try to sum this up really quick. So back when they read the book with the old man, they beat the old man. They got the book, which is a grimoire, which is a big old powerful MacGuffin, and it gave Jason a ghost friend named Anthem, who was trying to possess him. And
I miss
Anthem was big old karmic evil, and Anthem would tell Jason to do terrible things like, "Hey, read the book more," and they got to the capital place that they were going to, which was the far end of the other kingdom, Anima. And they got to the library, and there was another Grim Keeper there. I can't remember what his name was, but it was like, "Hey, sup? I'll take Anthem out of you if you want." There was also a bunch of shenanigans in that town, like King throwing up a child in air to signify where he was to you guys.
That was horrible.
Oh yeah.
And you came back to a red splat, and nobody questioned it. And fucking
We even saw the kid flying up into the air and didn't question it.
yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
god.
We're like, oh hey, look,
And,
that's gotta be King.
You are not a
And immediately went to go
great,
find him.
like a karmatically good party at
Oh my
times.
god.
No. Well, me and King didn't start off very.
Right,
We were
at
both morally just in the center where we just didn't care. Yeah, gray. And Jason was good, but because we spent so much time together and we were both morally gray, we just slowly corrupted Jason to just
To be
not care
like less
anymore.
and less. Also, Anthem was always there, being like, "Do it, do it, do it, do it,
Do it,
do it,"
do it.
and me being like, "Ah, God, peer pressure."
Yeah, that's also
And then
true.
eventually, you and Anthem fused into something which was supposed to be a pack fusion, and then that point was literally the point where it's like, "Hey guys, this is everything I've planned. I actually don't know what to do past here. I'm done. I'm sorry. Jason, you're the new DM. Goodbye."
It's just mid-session.
And yeah, mid-session.
Yep.
Ah,
It
And,
was
I
mid-session.
then logged off, and that was the end of that campaign. And guess what, guys? It's the end of the podcast.
oh man, yes it is.
We can probably talk
Yes,
more
it
about this
is.
too, but we should also stream tabletop games. At some
Yes,
point.
so that's the plan. So for anyone that's
Yes,
listening
that
to
is
this,
the plan.
we are going to be streaming a tabletop in the near future. I just need to work out some more stuff on it.
And where are we going to stream that,
We're
Jason?
gonna stream that on our stream. We
Yeah.
at
Thank
some
you,
Schmucks.
At
Kai and I
SomeSchmucks.
stream.
SomeSchmucks.twitch.tv.
You're welcome, Matt.
you
Listen.
motherfucker.
Yes, that
Or no,
it's
twitch.tv
right here,
/
actually, right here,
SomeSchmucks.
right here, where you guys already are.
No, don't say
that's right,
don't
that's
say
right.
here because
Yes,
people are
I'm
going to be
sorry.
listening on
Yeah,
other
you forget,
platforms
this
also,
is
Jason.
recorded,
I'm
you
sorry,
motherfucker.
I'm bad at this.
Fuck.
I'll get better, I promise. Yes, so yes, twitch.tv.
Where can we find us?
We're also on Twitter and Facebook. So,
Where, Jason?
crazy.
Where?
oh, I'm sorry. I'll get better, I swear.
God. I'll get better, I swear.
So ours is at
crazy.
Twitter / some at SomeSchmucks, and then Facebook is just SomeSchmucks. And it should be relatively easy. We also have links on our Twitch page, so if you do ever find yourself over there, you can click down below and it will bring us over.
And what about if I want to find you specifically, Jason?
I also have a Twitter, which is at ShadowFox.
And Kai, if I wanted to find you?
Yeah.
I am at some_conformist.
And if you ever
on
wanted
Twitter.
to reach out to the podcast for whatever reason, it's always open at schmucksredactedcast@gmail.com. Thank you. That is schmucksredactedcast@gmail.com. And I think we're about done, gentlemen.
Yeah, that seems like a
All right.
wrap. All right.
Yes.
All right, cool.
Yes.
Fucking-
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Bye. I think that was... I'm ending recording.